it's extremely interesting what's going on with Elon Musk. It's very interesting what's going on just recently with SpaceX and the rescue mission that they just accomplished by saving these astronauts from NASA who were stuck in space for like 10 months. I think it was supposed to be like a 10-day journey, but they ended up being stuck in space for like 10 months, which is insane. It's very interesting because this is one of those stories that is supposed to unite people. This is one of those stories that like everybody should be rooting for. Like everybody should be rooting for these people to, make it back home to their families and not be stranded in space for 10 months. Like this is one of those stories that we could all rally around. But it's very interesting because the person who ended up executing the mission is the reason why you have so many people who are simply unable to recognize the beauty of this moment. And that person is Elon Musk, right? And it's crazy to me because you see a lot of coverage from the right about this rescue mission. You see very little coverage from the left. It's very sparse. It's very limited. You can find a lot of short videos, but there's not like a extended coverage. CNN, they did do the entire live stream of the mission, but even in that, there wasn't a lot of additional coverage in the way that you would think this would be covered. And it just speaks further to the fact that there is this deep-rooted division that is simply always going to be present when it comes to politics. And I think that's a very dangerous place to be in because it opens up the possibility for idolatry. It opens up the possibility for you to serve more than one master. Anyway, let me play this video and let's have a conversation. I don't know if I'm gonna play this whole video, but let's have a conversation.
Back to the show, Ned Ryan and Tommy Lahren. Tommy, this is a goosebump moment. What's your reaction to this?
Well, I'll tell you, Liz, this is American exceptionalism at its finest. And I would hope that all Americans watching this can celebrate and cheer for that American exceptionalism. And they can put their newfound hate and disdain for the great innovator, Elon Musk, aside and celebrate what we're seeing right now. It's fantastic to see people come home. It doesn't matter who brought them there, but I think we do have to remember who that was, love him or hate him, on the left. I hope you celebrate with us.
This is a time to cheer America, cheer the White House, cheer Elon Musk. This is exciting, Ned Ryan. Your thoughts?
Well, great call by Trump to allow Elon to bring these astronauts home safely after the 9 months being stranded up there. But Liz, it's also a triumph of common sense. I mean, Trump looked at the situation, realized Elon had a solution, said, go do it. Make it happen.
They're splashing down now. Look at this. The images are so exciting. They're about to splash down. The parachutes have been deployed. This is an 8-day mission, Ned. It turned into an agonizing 9-month stay, and it stretched out. And they were stranded up there. Here they go. They're about to splash down at any second, Ned. Exciting stuff.
So, they hit the water. They came down. And then it's so interesting. So I guess when you're in space for so long, I didn't even think about this, but you forget how to walk, which makes sense because you ain't walking up there because there's no gravity. So they're pulling them out and putting them on
we can see folks
putting them on like gurneys and wheeling them out one by one.
On board clapping as our first crew member.
And that is NASA astronaut Nick Hague, commander of Crew 9, now out of Crew Dragon Freedom. Some smiles, thumbs up, and a wave. Can't get any better than that.
Yeah, that is one happy camper, that's for sure.
You know what's so interesting? We don't have to watch this whole video, but what's so interesting is when you do watch this entire video, every single person who they pulled out had a smile on their face. and they seemed extremely positive. Now, obviously, they have reason to be happy because they just got saved out of floating in space for like 10 months. But it's just so interesting because you would think that there would be a lot more despair, right? And I'm just thinking, because I was thinking the other day, I was like, man, could you imagine being stuck in space for that amount of time? Like, there's no way that they're not talking about God. There's no way, because either way you slice it, you sitting up here thinking like, yo, we probably ain't gonna get out of here. So what's the natural thing that people start talking about when you get in those situations? Even atheists, when they get in the situation where it's like, yo, there's very little chance of us getting out of here, you start pondering and you start talking about God. And it's very interesting. And then I saw this video from Butch Wilmore, and he was actually giving praise to Jesus, which I thought was incredible.
What is your life lesson or takeaway from these 9 months in space?
Well, in answer to your question, I can tell you honestly, my feeling on all of this goes back to my faith. It's bound in my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. He is working out his plan and his purposes for his glory throughout all of humanity, and how that plays into our lives is significant and important. And however that plays out, and I am content because I understand that. I understand that he's at work in all things. Some things are for the good. Go to Hebrews chapter 11. Some things look to us to be not so good, but it's all working out for his good for those that will believe. And that's the answer. So thanks.
So that boy was up there preaching. I could imagine for a majority of the time that they was up there. I could imagine. Now, I think it's, where is it here? Let me go to this video right here. So this is Elon Musk talking about it. This is from Fox News.
In my opening monologue earlier today, SpaceX successfully completed its rescue of 2 astronauts who spent 9 months stranded in space. They were only supposed to be there 8 days. SpaceX founder, chief engineer, CEO Elon Musk, he now joins us for an exclusive interview. Elon, first of all, what a triumph to the human spirit, human ingenuity.
First things first, I'll say this. I'll give Elon his due respect. Because he deserves some respect, right? I'll give him his respect. I'll give him his respect in terms of from a business standpoint, from an innovation standpoint. Even his current efforts, in the government, a lot of people don't like it. But also, if you go back to Obama's time in office, he was talking the same language that Elon was talking. He was talking the same language about reducing waste and fraud and unnecessary spending in the government. He was talking the same language. The only difference is Obama didn't actually execute on that talk that he was talking, where Elon is actually executing on it. So I'll give him his credit, and I'm not saying he does everything perfect, but the one thing that I don't like and the one thing that I do discern from time to time is this element of like worship when it comes to Elon. That's the one thing that I do pick up on. There is this element of worship that I sense from time to time. And that's why I said, with all due respect, this is just a man, right? This is just a man. This is not God. I know he's doing all these different things. He's got the Neuralink. He's trying to heal the blind and all this type of stuff. Okay, that's great. If you can pull it off, that's great. But, don't worship God's creation, because ultimately this is God's creation, right? Worship the creator, which is God himself. I'll just say that.
Engineering. First of all, on behalf of, I know many people in this audience, thank you for what you did for those astronauts today. How were you feeling, throughout the day? I mean, I know I felt butterflies in my stomach, and I rarely feel them.
Well, I'm actually usually a little nervous about these returns. because there's always some risk that something could go wrong. But thanks to the excellent work of the SpaceX team working with NASA, the astronauts are now safely home. And so congratulations to the SpaceX NASA teams on excellent work, and a huge note of appreciation to President Trump for prioritizing and expediting their return.
You have been the chief engineer of SpaceX and remain the chief engineer of SpaceX. It is the first private company to ever make it to orbit. Walk us through the beginnings of that. It is not, it's something that nobody else has been able to.
So let me fast forward. He's going to talk about how, they were not bankrupt. They were about to go bankrupt. And then finally on the last funding round, they finally figured it out. And like I said, all due respect, because that's incredible that they were able to, go up there and save them. That's incredible. But sometimes I do feel like they'd be worshiping this dude. I think it's 9 minutes. Let me go right here. Let me go. I think it's right here.
A mission, but there are certainly things involved with returning to gravity, adjusting to gravity, nauseousness, but then it gets a little bit more serious, a variety of other health problems. Bones become about 1% less dense for every month that they are in space. That could lead to issues like osteoporosis or bone fracture, et cetera. Astronauts grow in space because the spinal column expands. There was one astronaut, Scott Kelly, he became 2 inches taller, and others then, when it contracts when you come back, then they have some back issues. They have vision issues because fluids in the eye shift upward to the head. You can explain baby feet if you want. They will have some significant health issues that they're going to be facing, but they'll be okay.
The normal amount of time that astronauts are supposed to be in zero G is about 3 months, and then really at the most about 6 months. That's sort of the normal rotation, and they were up there for almost 10 months. So that's really going beyond what is healthy or good. So it's a good thing that thanks to the support of President Trump, we hope to bring them back, because really things get just a lot worse if they stay in zero G for past a year or more.
What you were able to accomplish today really just fascinates me. I'm interested in every aspect of it. I think it was pretty public that I bought one of your Teslas. I don't like the way that people, and by the way, it's like the greatest car ever invented. It really is, and I'm not just saying that. It's self-driving. It's got 1,000 horsepower. It goes from 0 to 60 in 0.2 seconds. It's
2 seconds. 2 seconds.
Okay.
2 seconds.
Zero, no, I'm sorry, not 0. It goes in 0 to 60 in 2.0 seconds.
At that point, I think it would kill you basically if it went that fast.
It would kill. That's true.
But it's pretty fast. That's for sure. It's faster than any Ferrari, for example. Yeah.
No, I watched it beat my Z06. I'm like, I thought that was the greatest muscle car. No, it's not. I watched the S-Plaid beat it. You're into robotics, AI. You are.
He's going to get to an interesting part of the conversation, which I want to talk about, which is all these people who are burning down Teslas and whatnot. There's a dealership right around the corner from my house. I'll show you the video. There's a dealership right around the corner from my house, and they wrote swastikas on all the Teslas and stuff, which it's just very interesting. It's very interesting. It's very interesting. Because when he wasn't associated with Trump, everybody loved him. Right? Everybody loved him. When he wasn't identifying different solutions in order to try to reduce the deficit, everybody loved him. Right? And oh, by the way, at some point, I don't know what people expect. At some point, we were going to have to address alternative solutions to reduce the national debt that we have. The interest payment, this is mind blowing. The interest payment alone, and I think he's going to say this, the interest payment alone on the national debt is more than our entire defense budget. Just the interest payment is more than our entire defense budget. At some point in time, whether Kamala got into office or, whoever, we were going to have to figure out how to address that, because that is not going to end well. So, I understand people are concerned, people are confused, people are scared. They might be looking at the possibility of losing their job. I understand that. I can't even sit here and try to imagine how those people are feeling, but there has to be some sort of proactive action that is taking place to try to reduce and be more responsible from a fiscal standpoint. And so many people are upset with him for attempting to do that. Anyway, let's continue.
Are working with Neuralink so the blind can see and people with spinal cord injuries may one day walk. You help people in North Carolina. You help people in California when they have no communications. And I watch all of this and I have to ask, why? Why do I see people like I woke up this morning and saw that Teslas were put ablaze in one of your dealerships in Vegas? I've seen this happen all over the country. Bullets are being fired. Charging stations are put ablaze. Teslas are being put ablaze. You have experienced assassination, threats of assassination for you and your family. What have you done that warrants this? Because I see nothing that you have done except help our country.
Yeah, I mean, it's really come as quite a shock to me that there's this level of really hatred and violence from the left. I always thought the left, Democrats were supposed to be the party of empathy, the party of caring, and yet they're burning down cars, they're firebombing dealerships, they're firing bullets into dealerships, they're just, smashing up Teslas. Tesla is a peaceful company. We've never done anything harmful. I've never done anything harmful. I've only done productive things. So I think we just have a deranged, there's some kind of mental illness thing going on here, because this doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
and I think there are larger forces at work as well. I mean, I don't know who's funding it and who's coordinating it, because this is crazy. I've never seen anything like this.
So this is like right around the corner. This is essentially my neighborhood. I think this just happened yesterday.
Vandalized a Tesla dealership in Encinitas overnight with swastikas spray painted across the building and several vehicles. It comes after nationwide protests against Tesla, which reached North County on Saturday. Our Jamie Chambers live for us in Encinitas tonight with the latest on that protest. Jamie.
Andrew, what whiplash when the Model Y was the #1 new car selling in California for 3 years running. Now there are protests, there's vandalism, and Tesla stock is plunging. The weekend protests at the Tesla dealership stretched down Encinitas Boulevard with demonstrators carrying signs for the end to DOGE, the Trump administration's Department of Government Efficiency, headed by Elon Musk. Musk has been slashing government jobs, and the backlash to Musk's prize company, Tesla, has been swift.
Lost half of its value since its peak.
Professor Alan Jin says no car company has seen such a dramatic swing in such a short time.
A lot of people don't like Elon Musk activities, and as a result, Tesla sales have fallen all over the world.
Crime against Teslas have also jumped, with the Encinitas dealership hit with a wave of graffiti of swastikas and curse words on their cars and buildings. The sheriff's department has launched an investigation into the graffiti and are urging people to contact Crime Stoppers with any tips on the vandals. Tesla owners who love their cars say they are in a tough spot.
Solar powered, we thought we were doing a good thing, and now regret it, but embarrassed, don't know what to do.
So I just, you say you thought you were doing a good thing. The people who are most, and this is not true anymore, but originally the people who purchased the most like Teslas were like people on the left, more liberal type of, we care about like the environment and like global warming and like, you know what I'm saying? Like that type of like harmful emissions and like that type of stuff. Like those were the people who bought the most amount of Teslas. And those were the people who were telling us that we need to stop driving gas cars and we need to get into a Tesla because it's better and it's safer for the environment. Right? Now we have those same individuals burning Teslas, harming the environment because they don't agree with Elon's role in the government, trying to reduce spending, trying to identify fraud and waste, right? And I'm not saying everything that he's doing is perfect, but at some point in time, we had to address the unresponsible financial management at the government level because nobody else wanted to touch it, because there was a lot of people who were benefiting from it, who were getting money from it, and they didn't want to see it come to an end. Right? I saw this video on TikTok. I thought it was interesting. Hold on. Let me see if I can pull it up. Yeah.
I never get into politics, but the ignorance is just so loud that I just simply cannot ignore it. Why are y'all so mad at this man being in office exposing the corruption within the government? There has never been a president in office exposing the wrongdoing of what's actually going on behind the scenes. Even when Barack Obama was in office, all of this stuff was happening with taxpayers' money. It didn't just begin now. It didn't just start now. You have Jasmine Crockett, who makes $180,000 a year. However, her net worth is what? Was it 20 million? Make it make sense. You also have this lady acting like she's for the American people, but she sat there and said, oh, they don't need a $5,000 check. I don't see them needing that. Why? Because it's taking from the money that she's been laundering. But y'all are sitting here, oh yeah, go Jasmine, because she's black. Like, make it make fucking sense.
I didn't know she was going to say all that. I apologize. Here's the thing. Ultimately, you got to be rooted in a firm foundation. You got to be rooted in a firm foundation. You can't just put all of your faith in human beings, because human beings are always going to let you down in some way, shape, or form. No matter what side you're on, they're always going to let you down in some way, shape, or form, because we are imperfect. The only one that is perfect is Jesus Christ. We have to be rooted in a firm foundation. It's kind of crazy though. Like, low key, I said I would never buy a Tesla. I just don't like electric cars. But then I drove in my friend's electric car in his Tesla, and it was pretty clean. It's just small. I have a big family, but I don't know. They got some Teslas for like, I think it's like $200 a month. Like, that's starting to seem a little enticing. It's starting to seem a little enticing. Mad at Elon because you lost your job. That's dumb. I lost mine in November. It's not his fault or mine. Companies restructure. The economy is bad. That's a fact. That's a fact. You said Elon trying to line them pockets. Yeah, isn't everybody? Isn't everybody? Isn't everybody? But you know, here's the thing. If things continue down the path that they're gonna go down, like even right now, like the interest rates are so high, something has to break. Something has to break, because the government has a debt payment coming up. And at the current rate of interest, something has to decrease. Something has to break. And the economy is bad. Stock market is bad. But I think we kind of got addicted to this constant flow of printed money being introduced into the system. And then comes inflation. And then comes everything that we're seeing right now. So at some point in time, it has to get a little bit worse before it gets better. And when they came into the office, when, you know, the administration came in, it's not like things were great. like people were still struggling, trying to figure out how they're going to pay their bills and how they're going to buy groceries and all this type of stuff. How they're going to put gas in their car. And they're trying to find solutions to actually reduce that and also make it sustainable. Will they be successful in their efforts? Who knows? But I respect that they're trying. Hold on.